Good evening, members of council, administration, and viewing audience. We'll call the meeting to order after a moment of silent reflection and remain standing, if you will, for O Canada. Thank you. O Canada, our home and native land. Members of council, any declarations of conflict of interest for items on the agenda? Thank you. That'll be noted in the minutes. Adoption of the minutes, the closed meeting of council held May 25th, 2021, and the regular council meeting of council held May 25th, 2021 be adopted as presented. Councillor Adichio Spagnolo and Councillor Reno, all in favor? That carries. Thank you. Mayor's comments. I just have a few. On June 1st, 1991, the township of Sandwich West officially became the town of Lasalle. With 14,000 residents, Lasalle became Essex County's largest town. We may not be able to celebrate Lasalle's 30th birthday in person, but we know that community spirit was alive and well in 91, and that spirit continues today. As we enter step one of the province of Ontario's roadmap to reopen, Lasalle Town Hall will open to the public on Friday, June 11th for town business only. Access into the building will be limited and patrons will be actively screened. Patrons are encouraged to make an appointment in advance when meeting with town personnel. Anyone exhibiting symptoms of COVID-19 will be asked to leave and contact the town by phone, email, or through the customer service portal. We will continue to follow the guidelines of the province and the local medical officer of health. The safety of our employees and patrons is of utmost importance. This weekend is our 34th annual celebration of Lasalle Strawberry Festival. Although we can't meet in person, the Culture and Recreation Department has planned some fun virtual family activities. I hope that you will have the chance to take part. Visit our website at lasalle.ca/Strawberry Festival. We look forward to hosting an in-person Strawberry Festival in 2022. Today, the Windsor Essex County Health Unit announced that 300,000 COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered in our region. This is a tremendous accomplishment. I encourage you to get the first and second dose of the vaccine as soon as you can. Visit WeVax, that's WEVAX.ca to learn more and book an appointment. Okay, we start off with a presentation from Tourism Windsor, Essex, Pelee Island. Our very own Deputy Mayor Meloche is on the board of that of TWEPI, and I believe we have Gordon Orr, Chief Executive Officer, to lead us off.
Thank you very much, Your Worship, Mayor Bondi, members of LaSalle Town Council. First of all, happy 30th. It's great to be with you this evening. And tonight I'm joined by Jason Toner, our Director of Marketing Communications here at Tourism Windsor Essex. Lynette Bain, our Vice President of Destination Development, is appearing at this very minute at the municipality of Leamington. But we are here tonight with the latest edition of our 2021-2022 official visitor guide just released. And we have a brief PowerPoint presentation we'd like to share highlighting where we're headed and our areas of focus for 2021. This is the third of 9 council presentations we're doing across the region in June, which is Tourism Month. And we do this for a couple of reasons. First, it's part of our commitment to you. We want to make sure our elected officials are better informed about the work of our organization and the work that we've been doing during the pandemic and going forward. And secondly, we want to provide you an opportunity in this forum to ask any questions of us that you may have. And before we start the PowerPoint, I don't have to remind Lasalle Town Council that tourism and hospitality was hit first, hit the hardest, and will take the longest to recover. The losses and sacrifices businesses have endured and realized are real, and they are heartbreaking. So we know that there are better days ahead. The vaccine rollout continues to give those much needed shots in the arms, and as the province's 3-step part of the roadmap continues to unfold, we're becoming more relieved and more hopeful. And I've said it a number of times that we can hope for better days ahead, but we have to plan for better days ahead so those days are more hopeful. And that is what we've been doing at Tourism Windsor Essex Pelee Island, planning in concert with our tourism stakeholders so we're ready to go as the provincial framework allows. So the PowerPoint presentation will start now with our mission. Next slide, please. We are the leading tourism industry collaborative committed to enhancing the region's economy and quality of life, and our core functions remain to be industry development of individual operators and businesses, facilitating active participation and engagement with them, and effectively marketing our destination. Slide, please. Our organization was just awarded the official designation through Destinations International called the Destination Marketing Accreditation Program. Tourism Windsor Essex Pelee Island is complying with the best and the highest standards of destination marketing and management, meeting the industry standard for performance and accountability of destination marketing organizations from around the world. And as part of that DMAP, we're also part of an elite group of 225 DMOs globally that have met the rigorous standards of industry accreditation. And in Canada, 19 DMOs are accredited, with Tourism Windsor Essex Pelee Island being one of only 4 in the province of Ontario. There you can see our organizational chart. It's a team of 9. And there you can see our organizational governance, an 11-member board, a mix of politicians and stakeholders. And I do want to mention, as certainly Mayor Bondi's already alluded to, our area is ably represented and gratefully represented by the county by Mayor Santos, the chair of our board, Deputy Mayor Crystal Malash, who's our who's on our board of directors as well as the warden of Essex County, Gary McNamara. And I in particular want to thank Deputy Mayor Malash for her active engagement and working with us in particular this past year during the pandemic. When we look back at the last 15 months, we have to recognize what we accomplished together within a united visitor industry, because the resiliency of the industry has been nothing short of a miracle. Our organization shifted focus immediately at the onset of the pandemic, and we paused all marketing, becoming an all-important information resource hub by serving the industry we serve, by providing ongoing, timely information through our online COVID hub. It has and still is a critical resource for our stakeholders. Another facet for 2020 was to pivot our marketing and to align with our direction that our tourism partners took us. And this led us to embrace our communities and businesses with our takeout dining guide, hashtag Takeout Tuesday, our patio dining guide, our wine delivery guide, Wine Order Wednesday, and our brewery delivery guide on Friday. The last highlight from 2020, slide please, that I'd like to focus in on is when at a time when we needed it most, we kept positivity at the forefront for our YQG Stand Strong social media campaign. This campaign was critical in helping cultivate a sense of community pride and promoting good news stories and photos during some of our darkest days. That pride continued as we unveiled our 6th annual Best of Windsor Essex Awards, a social media campaign to have locals help tell us and identify their favorites, knowing that where locals like to go, so will visitors. The campaign continues to grow, and this past year we saw an 11% increase year over year in votes. Our 2021 destination marketing plan was available on our partner portal and continues to address initiatives to showcase our region in the following areas of focus: outdoor adventure, food and drink, entertainment, and arts and culture. Now, new and enhanced product and program development initiatives we've been working on to grow the capacity of our local tourism industry and our stakeholders include a new digital pass for our Epic Wine Growers Association, a new Barrels, Bottles, and Brews flight log, digital flight log, which I think we're going to call, thanks to Mayor Bondi, Explore and Pour with Gordon Orr. An enhanced We Made It website program that aligns with our We Made It partners with our special occasion guides, encouraging more sales opportunities. And one of our latest initiatives is the Nona's List and Windsor Pizza Club. Each of these programs bring together small business operators to celebrate the Italian culture, food, and traditions in Windsor. The Pizza Club is designed to embrace the heritage and uniqueness of Windsor-style pizza and in turn, encourage locals and visitors alike to visit the 8 participating partners. The unique Nona's Shopping List program highlights Nona-approved food and beverages and retail selections, all through a digital pass that's gamified and rewards shoppers for visiting businesses. And the legacy of this culture has been brought to life by a jaw-dropping mural by Dirks on Erie Street, depicting the love for Nona of her family overlaid by her family ties to Italy and her new life in Canada. And now I'd like to turn it over to Jason Toner, our Director of Marketing Communications, to continue on with the program. Jason, please.
Thank you, Gordon. Another program we launched this month is We Heart Local, focusing on farm fresh in Windsor, Essex. Your guide to local producers, growers, roadside stands, farmers market, craft breweries, and farm-to-table dining through a digital pass exploring of over 70 participants in the campaign. We just launched this previous Friday, actually. To encourage participation in these programs, we know that building consumer confidence towards feeling safe to travel is key, and that is why we embrace the Safe Travels designation. The Safe Travels stamp is certified by the World Travel and Tourism Council. This stamp or decal allows travelers to recognize companies that have adapted to health and hygiene protocols so that they can be comfortable. They can be comforted to know that these businesses take safe travels seriously. Currently, we have 121 certified locations in Windsor, Essex, 2 within the town of Lasalle. Intake continues, and we continue to encourage those businesses to follow suit. Speaking of safe travel, arguably there's no safer place currently in some of our outdoor adventures, including our birding guide, highlighting how to be a backyard birder, identifying different species, and includes a map of the primary birding sites in Windsor, Essex. We also have our fishing guide pictured here. It's packed with some of the best places to fish, where to grab your bait and reels, and what species are found right in our region. Last year, this year will be the year of the staycation, with people staying close to home. Our Summer of the Staycation campaign is hyper-local and will make it easier for locals to learn more about things to do in their own backyard with easily downloadable itineraries, viable experiences, and more. In tandem, we'll also be launching the Windsor Essex road trip when out-of-region travel is encouraged. This campaign will be encouraging those across Southern Ontario to plan a road trip to the region for 2+ nights. Both campaigns will run through the fall to help drive traffic to our attractions and hotels. COVID-19 has also impacted how people are consuming our media, and we have adapted. You'll notice when you receive a copy of this year's official visitor guide, it's actually branded the Staycation Guide for Windsor, Essex, Pelee Island. This would be a great asset for locals and visitors alike to pick up when they're in market. We'll have a fully digital distributed guide out of market, utilizing a third-party agency to place ads and data provided by Environics that focuses in on those areas across Southern Ontario that have visitors or people with a propensity to travel and visit us this summer and fall. Part of this entire campaign will be the Windsor Hotel Incentive Campaign, a campaign designed to help drive overnight visitation. When visiting guests book a room of 2 nights or more in Windsor hotels, they'll have the opportunity to receive a gift card to redeem while in market, including a Windsor Pizza Club voucher. A similar campaign will run in hotels in Leamington, Kingsville, and Lakeshore. This campaign should help encourage additional room bookings and also encourage visitors to explore new offerings in districts while they are here. 2 new programs we partnered with this year were with the Windsor Essex Regional Chamber of Commerce to help and have a legacy moving forward are both Shop YQG and Dine YQG. They were both designed to promote local at the time when it is needed the most and will continue throughout the summer. Our website also continues to be the most important marketing tool that we have added enhancements and features to accommodate the needs of the user. Those integrations include a hotel booking engine, a new package option launching this summer, restaurant menus with direct links to restaurants, and as well features that profile new content that we've just released on the website. To finish off, I'd like to hand this back to Gordon.
Thank you very much, Jason. And that is the team. That is the team of dedicated tourism professionals that I have the privilege to work with every day to help advance our mission. An important part of that team, though, is also our Regional Tourism Committee, ably represented by Dawn Hadre, your Corporate Communications and Promotions Officer. Dawn has been a great collaborative partner, and she's an absolute pleasure to work with, absolutely. But more importantly, we want to thank you, members of council. Thank you for your time this evening, and more importantly, for continuing to invest in tourism and your support of Tourism Windsor Essex Pele Island. If you'll indulge me, I'd now like to end with a 30-second regional video, and then we'll be available to answer any questions that you may have.
My apologies, I was muted there. I'll restart it.
Thank you, Mayor Bondi.
Gordon, or it's always a pleasure to have you, Jason, Lynette, your team, whenever you want to come. You do a great job. Any comments, questions from, there we go, Councillor Reynolds.
Thank you, Your Worship. Gordon, Jason, I just wanted to thank you guys for coming out tonight. Your presentations are always fantastic. Everything that you've done in the background, you know, so many people have gotten down about the pandemic and closed doors and stopped moving. And obviously you guys have not stopped moving for a second. So I think you should be congratulated for all the hard work, everything that you put out, your staycation guide I got in the mail last week, you know, always so polished and beyond professional. Thank you very much for everything you do. And we look forward to working with you with a couple big things in Lasalle with some Christmas lights and hopefully some waterfront projects in the near future.
Thank you, Councillor, very much.
Deputy Mayor Malas, did you?
Yeah, I know Dawn had her hand up, so I didn't know she wanted to go. I actually was just, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Dawn. Okay, sorry.
No, I just wanted to kind of repeat what Councillor Reno said. I mean, I've had the opportunity to work with Gordon's team for a couple years, and they amaze me every day. Their creativity this past year during this pandemic, helping local small businesses and restaurants, and just all these unique ways to bring people together. I've honestly learned so much about Windsor Essex County in the past year, and so many great new little spots to go check out that I'm okay not having to go far from home because there's so much I don't know about Windsor Essex County already. And the one word that Gord used was dedicated. And Gord, you and your team are definitely dedicated. You are an amazing group of individuals who've worked really hard for our community, and I just wanted to thank you for that.
Well, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Very much appreciated.
Don, then Mark, and then Anita.
Thank you, Mayor Bondi. Through you, I just wanted to congratulate Gordon, Lynette, and Jason and their team on their recent accomplishments and thank them for being here tonight. We're really proud to work with Tourism Windsor Essex Pele Island. You're an outstanding partner who is always ready and willing to support and to brainstorm with us. I really appreciate being a part of the county BIA meetings that you started. It's giving us a new perspective on how to help the economic development side of Lasalle. And I also want to thank you for giving us a regional perspective on our events, which is further promoting Lasalle and all the great opportunities that we have in this region. And we look forward to working with you on many more events.
Thank you, Don, very much.
Councillor Carrick.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you. Well, Gord, I've known you for quite a few years now and still never seem to not amazed. You and your team are doing a great job. So keep up the good work and for the region especially, because the more the region grows, the more we attract, the better every municipality does. So again, keep up the good work, you and your team, and thanks for coming for the presentation.
Thank you, Councillor, very much.
Councillor Nicho Spagnolo.
Yeah, I just wanted to take a moment to congratulate Gordon and Jason and your team. I think you did a fantastic presentation, and I love the fact that you had some very creative outside the box ideas during a very challenging time, and just wanted to congratulate you guys. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Appreciate it.
Wow, they just keep coming in.
Right.
Anita, if you ever need a fundraiser, you can just raffle off Explore and Pour with Gordon Orr, and I think you'll sell out. All kidding aside, 1 of 4 in Ontario to receive this DMAP award. That's fantastic. And just to put in perspective, Gord or Jason, how many can win this, or how many tourism associations in Ontario?
Well, they could all apply to it. The real measure of winning it is the fact that it takes a couple of years of trying to live up to the rigorous standards that they set the bar at. So we had to change a lot of policies and procedures, and I know Deputy Mayor Malash knows that because we brought it to the board, and we had to make sure that our house, it's not the sexy part of the marketing, it's the back of the house operation. So our organization is solid. And it's really the effort to goes into it and dedicate the human capital and the human resources into it. So we were very, very pleased, and we're honored to be part of that. And it just helps make our organization that much more recognized by our peers globally, which is fantastic.
Well, that's great. Congratulations, Gord, Jason, and the other 7 members. They all work hard, and I know you're picking Don's brain now and then, and as she stated, she's happy to be there, and of course, our Deputy Mayor, Krista Malash, and the other members of County Council that are on the board. So thank you for the presentation. Second time I see it. You
Yes.
presented to the county, but you did as better the second time than the first. So thanks.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor. And I may say that Jason and I don't want to leave here because you've all been so welcoming and so positive. It's very much a shot in the arm for us, and I'll take your comments back to the team for sure.
Well, you can leave the meeting, but we definitely can find a nice home for you if you want to move to LaSalle.
Maybe next year.
Take care, everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
Okay, next delegation, we have Professor Lisa Baggio from the University of Windsor.
Mr. Mayor,
Nope. Yes,
we can just get a motion to receive the presentation.
well, of course. Deputy Mayor Malash and Councillor Dicho Spagnolo, all in favor. That carries. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Militia, for keeping me in line here. I know there's 25. I don't know. There she is. Okay. I have to flip back and forth. I have 2 screens. So Ms. Baggio, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mayor Bondi and members of council. It's just a pleasure to be here tonight. I was invited indirectly by Karen Karenzik, and I won't be too long, but I just want to take you through a project that the School of Visual Arts started in January, and I've taught at the School of Visual Arts for 17 years, and this was a very challenging year for visual artists, of course, because everything we do is usually community-based. And so I'd like to take you through a few slides and then take you through our website, which directly involves the Civic Center and the town of Lasalle. So I'll just share my screen. Okay, so I'm not sure if you're familiar with our move downtown. So we have a beautiful School of Creative Arts at the Armories and the Alan Wilderman building downtown. Our school has 800 students in total. We have a School of Architecture, film school, music, and studio arts, all combined in a big umbrella school. And this year I was in charge of the graduating exhibition, and I knew that in the fall it would be challenging because of COVID, but it seemed as though maybe we were going in the right direction. So I thought, okay, we can't be indoors for the graduating exhibition this year. So I tried to think of what we could do outdoors. And at the time when I was dreaming.
Joe, let me just interrupt. Are we supposed to be seeing something now?
I'm showing you a slide reel.
Okay, right now, all we see is, it looks like the page is trying to turn, but there's nothing showing. And let the other members of council administration see anything? No, your screen's not being shared properly, sorry.
What do you see? Sorry.
When you opened up your screen and you had the post attendee Zoom and the 2021 grad exhibition, that's what we see. We're not seeing any slides or any pictures or whatever else that you might be showing.
And now?
It's the same. Any ideas, Joe?
I think, Your Worship, she's simply just sharing the wrong screen, because I can see exactly what you can see. There's two tabs. Ms. Baggio, open on my computer. There you go. So now you're on. You've cleared up your Zoom screen. Perhaps if you click on your grad presentation, it will automatically allow us to see it, because the Zoom closing screen is crystal clear on mine now.
So you can't see the slides that I'm showing that shows the town of Lasalle?
No, all we see, Councillor Akpata, you're more techie than I am. If you could help her out possibly.
I think all you've done is you've clicked on a different window that you want to display. You're displaying the closing Zoom window. I can see that your 2021 grad exhibition is in a box in the upper left-hand corner. Perhaps if you click on that, it will switch and we'll be able to see your presentation as opposed to the end of the Zoom call.
Oh, it's the same thing that happened last time. You clicked on that yellow tab and it looks like the page wants to open, but it's not.
It's not.
Mr. Mayor, I think we have the presentation, so we can share it from our end.
Oh, okay. Did you hear that?
Staff does have that. So if Anissa, if you could put that on the screen.
So we're going to put your presentation up. You can ask, I don't know if you, okay, so we say right now it shows till we meet again. Can you see that?
I can. I had a slide presentation to give you the process and the background of this exhibition.
If you want to try it again.
Okay.
There you go. Now we see it.
Okay. Okay, you can see the image of our beautiful school downtown. Thank you. Sorry about that. Sorry, I've been working in Teams all semester and I haven't really used Zoom. So, okay, so I reached out in the fall to Karen Karenzik and asked her what the likelihood of us using the outdoor space at the Civic Center. You know, the shade sales are so extraordinary. And I thought, would be a beautiful space to have our final thesis exhibition. And it seemed to be going in the right direction. And then right before Christmas, things seemed to be taking a turn for the worse with COVID. And so it seemed like communications going back and forth that perhaps we weren't going to be able to have anything in the spring for this outdoor celebration. And, you know, I had to break the news to the 15 artists that were so excited about utilizing this space, and they were planning a site-specific piece, each one of them, that was attached to something architectural in the outdoor space. So mid-January, we had to pivot, and, you know, I discussed with them what the possibilities are. Of course, now it seemed as though we were going to have a graduating exhibition that was going to be completely online, but I'm so in love with the Civic Center space, and I think it just has so much potential that I asked them, well, what can we do? Can we try to maybe recreate the actual space and build our site-specific pieces, either digitally or in the round, and somehow, I don't know, insert these works of art into the Civic Center space? So the students indicated that they weren't sure how to do it, but we would figure it out. And so they proceeded to get a map of the space and start to record the space and figure out just how we're going to recreate this space digitally so we could have an immersive kind of experience. So, you know, when we have our final thesis exhibition, we could have the space, it could be digital, and people could still enjoy the works of art that we had planned to be seen in person. So the students started to carve up the space, and everyone was in love with the shade sails. So they created more shade sails, and they wanted a bridge over the water feature. So they created that. And so the students started to get very excited about what could be done. I'm going to spotlight just two students. This is Chloe Clemente, and she is a painter, and yet she designed a site-specific piece, a bench, because she works in social work as well. And so she built a bench that was to be installed below the shade sails. And she does work with the homeless. And this was her version of what would be important to be seen in the space. And it says, how can I stay home if I don't have one? So Chloe built this bench, and then she recreated it digitally and placed it in the digital space. So some artists actually built stuff physically, and some other artists created things digitally. This spotlighting Daniel Woods. And Daniel is a painter, but he had to now create a digital painting. So he looked back in Bruegel, and almost every artist was reflecting on COVID and what had happened to them, and, you know, very traumatic for everyone. And of course, students that were now plucked out of school and isolated. So that really was the running theme. Wasn't always negative, but Daniel took your beautiful civic center and it's the virus one and people are gone, and he projected you forward. And so this is a digital painting with about 32 layers. And it's what happened when humans had now left the space and what would happen to our world as things and nature kind of would take over. All right, so now hopefully I can share the SOCA site.
Joe, is this the copy that we have? It seems like it doesn't want to share that part of your screen, Lisa.
Again, it's not sharing, eh?
No. No, it doesn't want to open.
And now?
Okay, till we meet again, is that what you want?
Yeah.
Okay, we're there now. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the website that students built, and it's to showcase 4 years of their physical work in studio. But in addition to their physical work in studio, they built a section of the website for the exhibition at the Civic Center. So you can navigate this space. This website will be up for another year. And these are the 15 students that are participating. And if you click on a student's work, you can see their bio, and then you can scroll down and you can see whether they've listed all of their work or a portion of their work. And most of them have their own personal websites where you can see all of their work. So Angela Huang is a Vietnamese Chinese student, and these are her paintings and digital works. So you can see a mass of some of their sculpture and work that they created throughout the 4 years that they were in SOCA. If you scroll down on the website, you can see the Lasalle virtual exhibition. And so the students recreated the Civic Center in SketchUp and Enscape. So they measured it out and they created it as accurately as possible, also adding on some of the architecture and duplicating the architecture so that more students could utilize the shade sails. So it's pretty incredible what they did, and I was amazed every step of the way. They really wanted to recreate the exhibition so that not only could you see it still like this, you could also have a real physical experience and look at the works of art as though you're traveling through it virtually. So when you enter this screen, you can travel through the space, and you also see the artist and you see the title of the work, and you can certainly scroll around and look up at the blue sky. And as you click on the dots, those are walking through the space, and you can see all the different plotted works of art, and you can spin around. And again, these works of art, like this one by Samantha Hamlin, just the overwhelming amount of information and data that we were all receiving during COVID makes you feel so overwhelmed. And so she created this pile of information and set it afloat with a white surrender flag. And so the work it's just really stunning, and seeing it in this space and that you can pivot around and you can get up close and see each artist's creation. This is the nature cube concealed inside. And then you can view this was a performance piece done in the woods near the Civic Center. And it was just about isolation during COVID. The artist designed the costume. You can see Ada Guo. She loves the fact that Lasalle's just surrounded by water, and so she played on that. Some of the work is interactive. Bridget Burke, Grow Together. She loves your plant wall inside the Civic Center. So rather than try to create the inside of the foyer of the Civic Center, she put it outside, and there are links so that you can see some of the work is moving. It's interactive. There's Daniel's work. So the students decided where that they would showcase their work that would be the best place. There was a lot of thought that went into there's Chloe's bench. So all the work is now created digitally. So none of the work was really photographed, but it was actually recreated. Ian Rawlings, one of the designers, he is a Pave student, our architecture school. So he was really the driving force behind understanding how to recreate this space. Ruby McKinnon. And I'll end with Emily Rowe. This piece, pretty beautiful. You can zoom out. Home Sweet Home. And so this piece was really about how we're all in our homes, hallways and doors and windows, and the isolation and the confinement. And so she designed these 3 shade sails that were all about these spaces that you really couldn't get out of and escape out of. And so that's basically it for the site and the work that was built. I do have a few more slides just to wrap it up. And I don't suppose that you can see my slides.
No.
Okay, can you see that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. So I just want to close by saying that the idea behind all of this was from a symposium that I attended almost a year ago, and the city of Markham has an extraordinary public art symposium every year. And they're a city of like 400,000 people, but the amount of public art, they probably have more public art than any city in Canada. And it was just so inspiring. And I mean, I've always seen Lasalle as a kind of very youthful and also collaborative kind of place. It has just so many beautiful nuances, and site-specific work is really, with COVID, is more popular than ever. And the type of work and the expansion of the work is, it's just on fire. There's just so many possibilities to collaborate in community with the artists that you have in the city. You have so many artists, and our school is really comprehensive because we do have the architecture school and film, and it's probably one of the most interesting schools in Canada in terms of the umbrella that we encompass, and we have music. So we all work collaboratively, and I think we're sort of being underutilized by the surrounding area. So I was fortunate enough to be on the focus group with the waterfront project, and there was some discussion about site-specific work and that being maybe part of the budget, or but certainly there's always so much room for collaboration. And I really want to thank both Patty Finaro and Karen Kurenzik for being open and being collaborative and working with us. And when I shared the site with them, they were both just in awe. And Karen said, I mean, I knew that you wanted to have an exhibition, but that's not what I pictured. And it's so much more. And it's so customized to the space and how it's really about the architecture and the art together. So I'll just leave it with Emily Rowe's piece and the possibility of maybe marking or remembering this time with a work like this. I mean, it's just such an extraordinary work, and it's so relevant. And I just think I'm over the moon about what they did and the collaboration, even with Karen. And I think she wanted me to come tonight just to show you all that the potential is there for us to work together, and it can be grand, and it can really be a community event.
Thank you, Lisa. That was a great presentation. I took some time prior to tonight to go through those slides, and I was in awe as well. They're extraordinary. Members of council, comments, questions? Mr. Militia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Lisa. Lisa's one of my neighbors, which I didn't realize that she did this type of stuff, because we just see each other walking the dogs together. So, it was kind of an interesting conversation when Karen came to me and said, I'd like Lisa to come to the council meeting. And I said, Lisa, who? Lisa Baggio. I said, are you kidding me? I said, so it was kind of an interesting coincidence, and how the world is small in some ways. But certainly, we look forward to continuing to collaborate with Lisa and her group, because there's so much that we can do. We offer so much, and as council, one of the priorities that council has set out is to increase our footprint when it comes to our cultural endeavors and our artistic endeavors that we've done. So, things like this, they don't happen by accident. Certainly there's a lot of work done by Patty Finaro, Don Hadre, and Karen Kurenzik to try to orchestrate some of this, and unfortunately having to do some pivoting midstream with the COVID pandemic as we've gone through. But we're ecstatic. I mean, this is pretty special for us, and it's actually given us some ideas in terms of, we do have the sun sails out there, and perhaps we never thought about painting them or having designs on them, but this certainly puts a perspective in your mind to say, hey, you know what, maybe there is something that we can do to make it a little nicer out there, and give a little bit more of that artwork that we all desperately need in our community here. So I mean, we're over the moon in terms of what we have, what you've been able to create, and really, from the students, congratulations to them in terms of going through this process. And I'm sure it wasn't easy for them switching midstream and trying to create something in a very isolated fashion, unfortunately. But we look forward to working with you and your group as part of the Small Coast Project as we go forward, and even other endeavors as we have around town. So just, again, my thanks to you, and a thanks to some of our staff, particularly Karen Kurenzik, as most of you know, works in our Culture and Recreation Department, but has recently been seconded for a short time into our communication promotion area. So we thanks to her for orchestrating and organizing and all those things that are needed to make things like this happen. So thank you. And again, if there's any questions that we can help with, please, we'd be happy to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Militia. Lisa, can I just throw a little shout out? We have one of your original artworks in one of the churches in Lasalle, correct? Sacred Heart?
Yes, that's true. Yes.
That was done many years ago, if I remember correctly.
I was 18. It was just a couple years ago.
Beautiful artwork. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. And now you know who to speak to at the town if we can do more collaboration in the future.
It would be wonderful. It's just a blank canvas and it's absolutely stunning.
Great. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Motion to receive.
Motion to receive, please.
Deputy Mayor Malash and Councillor Desjardins, all in favor? That carries. Thank you. Budget software. Tano. Mr. Ferraro, sorry.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. The report before you refers to the purchase of municipal budget software. Currently, the town utilizes various word processing and spreadsheets to create the annual budget, and we are proposing to purchase a dedicated budget software. As the town continues to grow and the complexity of the budget increases and the town projects increase, we feel that budget software that provides increased internal control, as well as features supporting operating, salary, and capital, and it also integrates with our financial system, is appropriate at this time. It is important to note that the implementation of this software would take upwards of up to about 8 months. As mentioned within the report, we have applied for a grant and are awaiting a response, but given the implementation time and the resources required to implement budget software of this kind, we brought this forward the report at this time. We've also begun to review the budget document in hopes of doing some upgrades this year to perhaps various sections of the report and some graphics and some new formatting for the current budget year. And we are available, or I'm available for any questions.
Members of council. Questions? Councillor Renaud.
Anytime any of our people in our financial department want to talk about controls, it's a great word in the financial world. So you know what, I see this as a positive step, and I'll move the motion.
Moved by Councillor Renaud, support by Councillor Udicio Spagnolo. Any discussion? All in favor? That carries. Thank you, Tano. One comment. If the Government Finance Officers Association's Distinguished Budget Presentation Award, phew, anything you want, you can have.
Thank you.
But this guarantees we win it now 6 years in a row.
We will do our best, absolutely.
Sounds like a finance. We will do our best. Okay. Thanks, Donald.
Thank you.
Okay, 2021 Mill and Pave Contract Award. Jonathan, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Worship and members of council. So in front of us tonight, we have the recommendation for the contract award for our mill and pave work to Milan Corporation. Their tender price came in at $625,000. This work consists of what I would consider kind of our straightforward mill and pave work, and as well some of the paving that's needed at the dog park. So we came in within our $750,000 budget. The balance of that, we were recommending that we move over to our enhanced mill and pave budget. That would bring that up to from $750,000 to about $900,000. And I'll just comment on our enhanced mill and pave projects are kind of going to consist of basically two projects. One is the River Avenue water main, which is ongoing right now. The other part of the enhanced mill and pave that we're planning is to do some kind of rehab work on Canada Street, and as well 3rd, 4th, and 5th Street off of Todd Lane. That project is more in the design phase, and we're just going to get that done and see what our estimate cost might be for that before we move forward with any construction on that. But that's where we're at on the enhanced mill and pave, and this is specifically for our mill and pave work. And I'm available for any questions.
Members of council, questions? Councillor Desjardins.
Thank you. Through you to Jonathan. Jonathan, are we finding, we know that the price of just about everything has gone up crazy. Are we running into that same thing with Milan, Pave, and asphalt?
It actually wasn't too much higher than last year's tonnage price for the asphalt, which is the biggest component by far. So there was a slight increase, but it wasn't as much as maybe some of the other goods and services you might find across the construction world. So it wasn't, it was a bit higher than maybe we anticipated, but actually not as much as, say the increase in lumber and things like that.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Council's pleasure. Motion received, Councillor Desjardins and Deputy Mayor Malash. All in favor? That carries unanimously. Thank you, Jonathan. Mark Beggs, Lasalle Dog Park.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of council. The report before you regarding the dog park is a follow-up from the budget presentation. So we have gone through and put together a bit more of a final design, which I included in the report tonight. And I just wanted to sort of go through that with council to make everybody aware. So the total size of the dog park is approximately 1 acre. And as most dog parks have, it's got 2 sections, one for large dogs, one for small. This one's got some water sources for the dogs, so we're going to bring a water service over to the dog park area. Part of where the area that it's going to be going, which is right over near the Public Works Department and next to the fuel depot, is it was kind of lucky. There was a nice flat area that's already seeded with some existing trees, so we're able to actually have some trees in the park area without a whole lot of extra costs. One of the big parts of the project is to widen the existing roadway a little bit to accommodate some accessible parking along the existing road. So part of the project is going to be to pave that section of the loop road. And then as well as some smaller things, we're going to be able to include some benches, a couple of garbage cans, and have the facility fully accessible. So I'm available for any questions, and upon approval of this, we're going to plan on starting the construction right away. And just on a note, Councillor Desjardins mentioned the costs. Some of the costs that we have been getting for some of this have been a bit higher, but we are hopeful that we're going to be able to still fit all the components in and be a little creative with how we get them done, and have our staff do as much of the work as we can. So we're hopeful that we can fit everything in within the budget. So I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Beggs. Councillor Reno.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to thank administration. This seems to be one of the longest roads we've gone down since I've been here. I remember my very first time running for council, we had people running for council strictly on this issue. So, it's taken time to do it right, to get the right spot, to get the features that are important, through public consultation, everything we've done in the last 7 or 8 years. I want to thank you guys, and I think this will be a great addition and an extra service that will be greatly appreciated.
Council's pleasure. Deputy Mayor Malash and Councillor Reno, all in favor? That carries. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark. And you're up for the next one, St. Clair Park Playground Replacement.
Yes. Mr. Mayor, members of council, again, this report is the next step in the St. Clair Park reconstruction. So this part specifically is for the playground and the play base. So there are going to still be some other components with the park that we will be installing, but just so it's clear with the budget items, the cost of the playground itself is $75,000 of the total $150,000 for the whole project, which would include some pathways and a court and that kind of thing. But this specifically is for the approval of the playground going in. So we put out an RFP for this and received submissions from 3 designs, and we had all 3 do a presentation for the Parks and Recreation Committee. And upon scoring evaluations for each, each was very close, so it was a tough decision, but sorry, I'm just getting my paper here. The New World Park Solutions was the playground that was successful, and that is the recommendation tonight. Included in the report are some drawings and some renderings of the playset that's going to be installed. And if there's any questions, I'm available.
Councillor Carrick, then Councillor Reno.
Thank you, Your Worship, through you, John. Mark, sorry. Timelines, once we get this moving, any idea roughly?
So the overall project, we're shooting to get it done by the end of the summer, kind of into the fall. So this year, what we've been told by the supplier is as soon as after council tonight and probably even tomorrow, we will put in the purchase order, and there shouldn't be an issue with getting it. So we should be able to get it done this year.
And then one more question. So I'm looking at the base here. So is that easily accessible, as our chair of our accessibility committee would ask?
Yeah.
For wheelchairs and that stuff to roll over it nice and easy and that kind of thing?
So this base is the engineered wood fiber, so it is not a rubber base, but it is fully accessible and fully meets all the certifications, and the install is done in layers and compacted so that it is a nice solid surface that's still safe.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Councillor Reno.
Thank you, Your Worship. I was fortunate enough to be part of our Parks Committee that saw all 3 presentations by the 3 different proponents. And I'm glad to see that the winning submission was actually the local submission that will put some of our own people back to work, including, as we were told in one of the presentations, one of their employees actually works right in Lasalle. So this is a chance to get those pandemic dollars starting to move and doing some good things for our local community. So thank you to all the people that had to make the decision.
Councillor Riccio Spagnolo, and then Deputy Mayor Malash.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment. I actually worked with New World Park Solutions through them designing and building a accessible playground for an organization that I'm part of. And I will say they did a fantastic job, and very bright and very well equipped. And I will say that it is great to have someone local, only because of the main fact that when we were vandalized a couple of times, they were right there and willing to fix everything within a day, that same day. So very happy with this company. So
thank you for your comments.
Sorry, my daughter is right here.
Okay.
Virtual world, that's fine.
My only question, I guess, is you commented that's just kind of a part of this project. The other part, I think you said, would be trails in the court. Did I hear that right?
Yeah. Yes. So this component is for the actual playground, and I didn't include a rendering of the whole park for this presentation. But I think when we did the public consultation, there was a picture of the whole park. So it includes a little trail that's going to go around the park, a court section, and then obviously this playground, and probably some other tables, chairs, and removing the fence. So there's a whole part of the project that's above and beyond just the playground here.
Okay, so would we receive a different tender for that, or is that just something that you guys just kind of build along?
We're going to be doing that mainly with our own staff where we can, and we're probably going to piggyback off of some of the other court work that we've already tendered out this year for some of the court surfacing. So I don't think there will be another report coming back for that that section with any pricing.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. I think everyone in that area will be excited to get the new park, and I'll put a motion to move the recommendation.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Milan, second by Councillor Dicho Spagnolo. All in favor? That carries unanimously. Thank you, Mark. Just a question. Is this one of our larger parks in area?
The entire park area, I would say it's in the medium kind of range, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, so it's definitely not the smallest, but I don't think it would be considered the biggest either. So right kind of in the middle.
Okay. Thank you for the information. We look forward to it being completed. And so do the kids in the neighborhood. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay. Financial statement and financial reports. Mr. Longo, there you are.
Your worship, members of council.
Mr. Militia.
Mr. Mayor, I think we have a supplemental agenda item E5, I believe it is, which is the appointment of the proxy holders to cast the municipal vote for Essex Power.
Okay. I didn't see it. Maybe I missed it, but
I think it's
okay.
at the end of the addendum with respect to the presentation that was put on by Tourism Windsor Essex POA Island.
Okay. That's great. I didn't print it. I apologize. So, Councillor Carrick. You want to move the recommendation? Councillor Carrick.
I think, wasn't that for the Essex Power proxy voting? Was that not the addendum we were sent?
So I'm assuming in there it says that you're allowing me to vote by way of proxy for Essex Power.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we have a mover. Deputy Mayor Malash and Councillor Reno, all in favor. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Joe. Apologize for that. Thought I had everything ready here. Okay, now we go back to April 2021 financial statement and financial reports. Mr. Langua, sorry about that.
Your worship, members of council, before you is the financial statements compared to budget as at the end of April. Consistent with previous month, for the most part, we're on track with our budget, or even some areas slightly below, just due to the COVID pandemic. As we know, the culture rec department, that's the one area where we are tracking quite a bit higher than budget. But on a positive note, we have received approximately $850,000 in 2021 for pandemic related expenses. So that will definitely help. And hopefully in the fall, we can start getting back to normal and the arenas can open up and we can get back on track. But that funding is definitely going to help us stay on track with meeting our overall budget. And I'd be available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Langua. Councillor Akpata.
Through you, your worship, Mr. Langwa, just a standard question whenever you present these. Do you have any concerns related to the budget or the numbers that you presented to us today?
No concerns.
Thank you, your worship.
Any other council questions, comments? Council's pleasure. Moved by Councillor Reno, second by Deputy Mayor Malash. All in favor? That carries. Thank you. Summary of reports to council. Moved by Councillor Reno, or do you have a question?
I'll move to receive.
Okay, move to receive, Councillor Reno. Councillor Dicho Spagnolo, all in favor? That carries. Thank you. Bylaws. All four bylaws, all three reading. I'm sorry, five bylaws. Councillor Desjardins and Councillor Akpata, all in favor? That carries. Thank you. Council questions. Councillor Carrick, and Councillor Reno.
Thank you, Your Worship. A quick question, but I guess we're a product of our own success when it comes to parks. The one on Heritage is, you wouldn't even know there's a pandemic on, the way the amount of people have been flocking to that thing, to the point where the parking lot is so small that there is not enough spaces to go around, considering how many people actually are using it, especially on the weekends and the weather is nice. So I don't know if it's something we can expand, or if we can put some couple of parking spots in the middle of that little square thing where they park around it. We can maybe look at something like that, because they're just parking all over the place. And because, like I said, we're a product of our own success. The park is beautiful. It's great. There's so many people using it that it is overflowing. So it's something we can look at if that's possible.
Oh, Mr. Mara.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Certainly, we'll take a look at at what can be done and what can fit within a budget. Certainly, there is a balance between providing too much asphalt and not enough green area, but certainly it is identical in size to what was previously there, and there was an extensive amount of trails provided to provide walking abilities to get into the park. So certainly that was the overall aspect in design of the park, is to provide that connectivity to bring people there in a active transportation manner, through walking, through bicycling. Certainly there is parking ability on Heritage Drive as well. So we can take a look at it. There's certainly nothing available in this year's budget, but something for future year budget.
Thank you, Peter. Councillor Reno.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have 3 questions tonight, only because I didn't see Councillor Akpata put his hand up. So I'm going to ask 3 tonight. That being said, they're all pandemic related questions, because, you know, everybody seems to know exactly how many people can sit at an eatery, how many products can be bought at a Zehrs. Everybody knows that kind of stuff, but they're looking for a little bit more information on what our town is doing. So my first question is for Mr. Mara. There has been a notice that last year and this year, the town has put out fewer flowers than we normally do. You know, and last year there were challenges, and now this year. I had a resident question, wanted to know if there's going to be any more enhancement of flowers, or are we done for the season? As you know, we've got a few spots in town that look good, but in general, we're a little thinner than what we're used to. What can residents come to expect this year?
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. The flower purchases have occurred. We do have to place that order early on in the year to get the flowers grown for us and produced for us. Town staff is still not done planting all the flowers this year, so there's still more areas to get to. So I'm hoping to hear that maybe those areas that people are talking about being bare are the areas that we just haven't got to yet. So I can provide a bit better of a follow-up with once I have an opportunity to review with the parks supervisor, and go from there and provide that summary to council in a subsequent email, so that you have that information available.
Okay, that's great news. My second question is for Ms. Finaro. Again, you know, as people are opening up and we're getting some of our outdoor and indoor activities starting to be coordinated, we're starting to get questions about summer camps. Will we be expecting any summer camps this summer, given what we are modeling and where we're going to be in the future?
Thank you for the question, Councillor Reno. We are still reviewing the guidelines and restrictions that have been provided with respect to summer day camp programs. We hope to be making an announcement in the coming days. One of the things that we are still unsure of is the restrictions with respect to step 2 and 3 of reopening, and what that means for our full building capacity. So we're hoping to have that information so that we can take all of that into account as we make decisions and ensure that we're also meeting the needs of our ice users and our fitness users and our pool users.
Thank you very much. My final question is for our CAO, Joe. again, there's a lot of people out there that know everything that's going on with in the way of commercial activity with step 1 and step 2. And you have published an email to us with what we might be able to expect. And just for the viewing audience, because I know there's thousands watching tonight, I was wondering if you might be able to just give us a quick rundown of what we should be expecting in the next maybe 14 days. So that step 1 that is going to start on Friday.
Thank you, Councillor Reno. What we're finding is that the information is coming out, and again, generally it's positive in nature. So those are all positive things as we look forward to, as one of the guest speakers on CTV has said, we're on the on-ramp to the new normal, and folks may not feel that we're going fast enough, or maybe we're going too fast, depending on where you are on the spectrum. But for the most part, we are on the on-ramp to getting to the new normal. So the three-step roadmap that the province has released has provided us with a pretty good guideline as to how we can manage and timetable our reopening plans at the municipal level. There is some information, as Ms. Finaro has indicated, that we're still waiting for in terms of some of the regulations and things, and we understand that those are coming. But in terms of what we were originally looking for Monday, June 14th, so a week from yesterday, which now has been announced as this coming Friday, from a municipal perspective, our town hall will be reopening. Again, we will modify some of our internal staffing arrangements in order to make that happen. But our town hall will be open, as the mayor mentioned in his opening remarks, will be opened on Friday for regular municipal business. The library at this point is still closed. That is a step 2 opening. Again, that is allowable under step 2, which we're hearing is going to be somewhere in and around July 5th. And then that's if the province maintains the 3-week cycle in between step 1, step 2, and step 3. We do already, the outdoor fields are available for use, but there are restrictions on how they can be used. Again, the team sport training of up to 10 people with 3 meters distancing will be available. We are having some difficulty, as every municipality is in Ontario, obtaining line paint, believe it or not, as that the line paint is biodegradable and has a shelf life. So the factories have not been producing it for the last little bit. So we're waiting for that production to catch up. Once it's available, we will begin to line the fields, but we are maintaining our normal what would be our normal routine mowing patterns and maintenance patterns on the field. So they will be available for the team training exercises, as well as our outdoor pool will be towards the end of June, will be ready and open. Again, there are limited capacity limits. And again, it's a 2 or 3, I can't remember exactly, but 2 or 3 meter distancing requirement that is with any outdoor pool activity. So that is tentatively sent for closer to the end of the month, which is a bit more like our normal opening for the outdoor pool. In the last couple of years, we have been, as many members of council and the public know, the outdoor pool is located on Front Road, and it is in a flood-prone area, and we have had some of that over the last 2 years. Thankfully, river levels are down this year, and so we don't believe we will have consistent flooding issues. We may have a pop-up issue, but for the most part, we don't believe that we will have consistent flooding issues on the Front Road area from lake level side, from the lake level height side of things. As we move to, assuming that the province maintains the 3-week intervals in between step 1 and step 2, under step 2, things get a little bit more aggressive in terms of what we're reopening. The libraries are eligible to reopening. Obviously, our facility is open, but that is a decision for the library board to be made. So there is some capacity limits as well, but that we expect that at some point in June that will be reopening. Our outdoor sports leagues, as well as outdoor fitness, could open as well in early July. Again, I will say that there are a number of restrictions and regulations, limitations that are slowly coming out in terms of how they are to operate. But we are looking for that, as well as some of the outdoor event space, fairs and rural exhibitions with reduced capacities will be available. And again, we will be targeting something towards the end of July to see if what we can offer in that way. As we get towards the end of July, again, the restrictions, the available amenities that we can offer and services that we can offer would include some indoor sports, indoor fitness, indoor pools, obviously with restrictions and capacity limits. That's what we'll see, as well as indoor spaces to be open with capacity limits. There is also going to be larger indoor and outdoor gatherings allowed as we get closer to the end of July. So again, those are all tentative at this point. We are looking to see, our management team is constantly looking at the information as it's coming out from the province and the health unit to see what is allowable, what is not. Our splash pad has been open, and thankfully, again, I think it's gotten a great deal of use over the last little bit, particularly with the heat that we've had. So we are looking forward to providing our full gambit of services back to the public. I will say, though, that much like we did earlier this year, as things began to open up before we hit into the third wave, we will open things up on a gradual basis so that we can get our facility up and running and make sure that we're not overcrowding the area beyond what the limitations would ask for. So again, it is a bit of a work in process. We do have a framework for a plan to get all of our amenities open. But again, we are subject to a number of the limitations and capacities and restrictions that are put on for us. But we are, quite frankly, we're excited because it's been, the better part of 2 years that we've been able to offer a full gambit of services, particularly on our recreational side. So we're really looking forward to getting back in. Again, our maintenance staff has done an extremely excellent job in maintaining the facility on the inside with the lesser amount of people in there. They've been able to get to things that they traditionally have not been able to get to. So we're pretty happy about that. And for many that have not been in the facility recently, when they do go in, it'll seem like the facility is brand new, given all the work that's been done. So we're fortunate we've been able to take advantage of the COVID shutdown in that manner. But again, in speaking with our recreation staff, we are looking forward to getting back at it and providing those services and working with the user groups to satisfy some of their requirements as well. So again, we do have some work ahead of us, but again, we look forward to that.
Thanks for your comments, Joe. I think sharing that analogy of the on-ramp, I think that's a fantastic way to look at it. And I'll share one more analogy that was actually in one of the press conferences from our premier. And it may be a little scientific for some people, but the fact of the matter is outside is good. Indoors, not so good. So we can all keep that in mind as we're getting outside and enjoying the beautiful weather and the beautiful town that we've been given. Thank you.
Any other council questions? Statements by council members. Councillor Akpada.
Well, your worship, I would be remiss if I didn't speak to our flags in our municipality being at half staff and the terrible, terrible tragedies that have befallen 2 municipalities in Canada. To wit, I sat through the presentation of the mayor of Revelstoke. I watched it online, and his heart was broken as he spoke about the discovery of the 215 children in the residential school in his municipality, not to speak about what the mayor of London has just gone through in his municipality as well. I've got to pause for a moment to thank our public safety staff, because again, looking at what these organizations in both Revelstoke and London are going through, I understand the brunt of the burden shall be borne by those men and women. Simply put, I want to ensure that all the residents of our municipality, regardless of religion, race, creed, or color, feel safe. We understand as a council our responsibilities to do everything we can to enhance the safety of our municipality. And simply put, that we have resources for the see something, say something type individual. We have resources for mental health. We have resources for people who are being distressed. But we must also acknowledge that, as my colleague, Mr. Reno, just spoke about, the gift we've been given in the town of LaSalle as to how we are interacting with each other, the respect we have for each other, and acknowledging that, unfortunately, some of our colleagues across the country today and tomorrow shall be dealing with very devastating things. And we want to make sure that the members of our community, whether they be Muslim, First Nations, Indigenous, Inuit, or Métis, understand the fact that we as a council appreciate them in the community. We recognize the pain that's going on in other municipalities, and that we stand strongly with them, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Akpata. Well said. I may take this opportunity to ask our acting chief, Duncan Davies, if you want to add anything to what Councillor Akpata just stated.
Thank you, Your Worship. Members of council, certainly on behalf of the police department, our hearts go out to the people of London, Ontario, and the loss that they've experienced, and certainly the Muslim community there. Again, as Councillor Akpata clearly articulated, our concern is for the safety and security of the people of the community of LaSalle, and we certainly want to reassure every member of our community that we stand with you and we're there for you as well. And as far as what's happened out west in Kamloops, BC, certainly our hearts go out to the families of those individuals as well, and trying to identify those family members of each of those children that have died, and give them a name and put them in the proper grave that they belong. And again, we stand with those people as well. So thank you, Your Worship, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Acting Chief Davies. Any other statements by council members? Reports from committees? Notices of motion? Conformatory bylaw. First reading. Deputy Mayor Milosh and Councillor Reno, all in favor? That carries. Second reading. Councillor Dicho Spagnuolo and Councillor Akpata, all in favor? That carries. Third and final reading, Councillor Carrick and Councillor Desjardins, all in favor? That carries. Thank you. We have a list of the meetings coming up. Everyone, have a good night, and keep those families, we don't know the families, but the 215 in BC and the 5 in London, tragic. We are lucky to be here. Good night, everyone. Thank